Hello and welcome to episode 74 of As Yet Untitled. I'm Rob.
And I'm Chris.
And I feel like we were tripping for a little while. About an hour and 40 minutes we were tripping.
Well, things that make your head a bit twisty.
They are. I mean, yeah, so we just finished watching Ghost in the Shell. The 2017 movie, not to be confused by the anime or the TV series. Is it a TV series?
Anime and manga.
Yeah. So it's something. I mean,
You don't know where to go, do you?
I don't know. I mean, we've paused it at the
At the names.
at the credit bit. And firstly, Chris said, "Oh, what's the second name?" I said, "What, Johansson?" And that's not what you were talking about. So
no, I was trying to figure out who, because it was the
who. Carry on.
I don't know where I was going with that. No, it's just one of the people I didn't know how to pronounce their name, and I wanted to know who it was.
Would you care to give it a...
Pilu Asbek.
I think so, but I think because it's an E, isn't it, with like a hypheny thing on it? Is it an AE?
I don't know.
It's AE, which stands for something else, right?
I'm not very good with that, so Pilu. I'm going to call him Arsberg. Pilu Arsberg. You're right there.
Yeah. I think the way that AE is connected is something else. Are you trying to figure out how to say it?
No, I've actually just found. I typed in Pilu and it came up.
Pilu, Pilau, I don't know.
Pilu Arsberg.
Him.
It.
But yeah. So why was you trying to figure out his name? Is it because you see it and wasn't sure, or was it?
I saw it and I thought I have no idea how to pronounce that.
Yeah.
I still don't. So I've achieved nothing.
Nah, neither of us are. So what a great use of time.
We do a podcast with
Yeah,
rambles on for over an hour. We can waste time.
Yeah. But
You found it hilariously funny that one of the characters just named Bearded Man.
Bearded Man, like what a great. It's like, imagine if you've gone all through this acting, right? You've done all this time at stage school and you've been in all these awful theatre productions, and you go, "Oh, I'm going to be in a movie, like a Hollywood blockbuster movie." And it's like, "Oh, what are you playing?" Bearded Man. Like, surely they could have just given him the name of like Eric.
I think those two, Bearded Man and Skinny Man, were the dustmen.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Which I feel really sorry for Skinny Man then.
Yeah, because Bearded Man lasts a bit longer.
No, Bearded Man dies.
Which one?
Skinny Man is the one that
his
brain goes funky.
Oh, okay. Is that the one that thinks he's got a child but doesn't have a child?
Yeah. When his mind was hacked, they downloaded new memories into him, and he believed he got a daughter who was at violin practice or something.
And he didn't have a daughter at all?
No, when they showed him a picture of himself, is this her? He's saying, yeah, isn't she beautiful?
Madness. Yeah, so we just watched Ghost in the Shell. So I remember seeing it at the cinema, I believe. But clearly I don't remember it that well, but I've only seen it once. So
I've never seen it at the cinema.
Have you seen? I'm assuming you've seen it.
I've seen it before, yeah.
Yeah. So what was your? I mean, I get.
You're really stumped with this one, aren't you?
Yeah, more like not because it's a bad thing. Like for me, my initial thing going in was like, I know I've seen it, I enjoyed it, but I don't know why. And I know that doesn't help, but my thing was, it's going to be really bad CGI, and it wasn't bad. Like, it wasn't bad.
The only time you really think computer CGI is when she was bouncing around near the end.
Yeah, but that was her running. But I think that was very janky, shall we say? But then I guess there's moments where you look and you think, well, she doesn't look real or realistic enough, or it's a bit over the top with the robots. And I'm thinking, well, they're robots. They're not going to behave and act that way.
Human, no.
Yeah, so they get away with that. I think is when you're trying to bring in, for example, Valerian, and you're trying to bring in, or even Avatar, a race of
living beings.
And they're so human traded.
They don't look right.
That they're off. And I think that's the problem with a lot of stuff. Whereas with this, they're robots. Well, cyborg, as you
Yes,
said.
robots are manufactured, just machines. Cyborgs have something organic, something
Yeah.
living about them
Like
still.
Crichton has organic piece in his brain in Red Wolf, which is why he was able to morph.
Which makes me thoroughly confused. Is he technically a cyborg?
I don't know. I thought he was a robot.
Yeah, because they're mass produced, aren't they?
Yeah.
That's just blurring lines.
That's
two different universes.
Yeah.
Let's not go there.
But yeah, before we get on to kind of really breaking this down as much as we can and discussing it, there's a couple of ways that you can support the podcast. So firstly, if you can't be bothered to actually look for everything that we do online, which I understand because I'm lazy too, and when I'm looking for our own stuff, I do the same thing. So in our description box, there's a Linktree link on there, takes you to every single thing that we do. So if it's our merchandise, if you want to donate money to us on our Ko-fi link, if you want to go and listen to our other podcasts where we talk to people from the world of entertainment, whether that's movie stars, whether that's football players, whether that's stage actors or content creators or designers or drawing or graphic designers, then that is the place to be. Then basically go over there and listen to us, because basically we sit down with them for an hour and we kind of find out the ins and outs of their life and how they became who they are and got into the field that they do or the profession that it is and stuff like that. So if that's the sort of thing that you're interested in, go and listen to that after you've listened to this, obviously. But in the meantime, if there's other ways to support the podcast, then like I said, you can donate using the Ko-fi link. You can buy our merchandise. I'm going to put something new up very, very soon. And obviously we'll be promoting that. And on top of that, if you like to drink energy drinks, but you'd like to have it with water and take away that fizz, then you can use Rogue Energy. Now, if you use the code AYU10, that's the code AYU10, you'll get 10% off. Not just your first order, not just your second, but every single order.
You can only use it once per order.
That's correct. That's the only downside. I'm afraid I can't do any more than that. And I'll give you a little sneak behind the curtain. The more you use the code AYU10, the bigger the percentage you'll be, because you'll get a bigger cut from it. So, if you want more money off, then, use the code AYU10, because obviously it helps us, and that helps us help you. Back to Ghost in the Shell.
Yes.
Although I did think it was called Ghost in a Shell. For some reason, my head was saying Ghost in the Shell, Ghost in the Shell. Then I looked, I was like, no, it's called Ghost in the Shell.
Yes. Because in this futuristic Hong Kong,
yeah,
the ghost is what we now call a soul.
Mm-hmm.
So someone's ghost is there, that means they have a soul.
Yes.
Which I suppose it makes sense in a way.
Mm-hmm.
Soul has religious connotations, but ghost is just your ghost.
Yeah, it's just your meaning after life.
Yeah.
I guess. So where do you want to go with this one? Which route and direction do you want to go down first?
Well, give me my options.
Well, I normally lead the podcast. I thought it'd be nice for you, because you've watched the anime, and I haven't watched the anime, and I've not read the manga.
I've watched the second gig, which is a standalone complex.
But you understand more of it than I do.
To a point.
Yeah, so it's like, I can lead the pod, but I'm going to ask you the questions to do with the anime, which will lead us back into this conversation.
Okay. Then proceed.
All right. How different is stuff in the anime in comparison to this?
Bearing in mind, second gig watcher, not the first movies or anything.
Yeah.
There's a lot of difference. In the anime, she knows she's Motoko Kusanagi.
Okay.
So there's no identity issue.
Do you think is there an identity issue at the beginning of the original then, like the first one? Do you reckon?
It's possible. They wouldn't have pulled this story out of thin air.
Yeah.
So I think it's entirely possible. I mean, she's had her body severely damaged before, so the whole thing could have been a cycle.
Yeah.
The difference is, obviously, in the anime version, the actors look of course they look different. They're animated.
Yeah.
But I like the way the leader of Section 9, the old man, how he looks in both of them. They haven't degraded how he looks.
Does he look the way he does in this, he does in the anime then?
He looks more Caucasian in the anime. You'll find that with a lot of anime, though. They will make their characters not stereotypically Asian.
Okay, yeah. Because they like to branch from
what people see every day.
Yeah,
It's fantasy. The implants that Batu gets in the eyes. I never actually see him get them in the anime. That I've watched, I've never seen him get them. He's always had those little. Well, in the anime, they're white.
Okay.
But I love the fact they included that. Because when I saw it, when I remember seeing it the first time, I just like his eyes before he got his implants. I'm like, kind of a bit of a disappointment that you didn't already have them, but now they've given a reason for him having them.
Yeah. Look, I don't mind. Like, I like the idea of it. I don't mind the idea of him using, militant eyes to help him, because that's what it's for, right? It's for his military
augmentation.
Yeah, so it's to help him enhance what he's doing already.
Yeah, he's a specialist. Well, Section 9 is an anti-terrorism unit, basically. Yeah.
So he's using what he can to enhance his abilities to do the job better.
Yeah.
Which I get to a degree. But you're telling me they couldn't have designed them to look a little bit better than that?
Yeah, so many cybernetics, you could think, just put a bit of fake skin over the top of it or something. Make it look humanoid, or not humanoid, make it look organic.
Yeah.
If they've got the technology to give you an entirely new body or new eyes, surely they've got the technology to put a bit of plastic over them to make them look real.
Yeah.
I mean, the entire time he's got his eyes closed, you can clearly see there's an eye behind it, because it looks like things just stuck onto his eyelid.
To me, it looked like if you got two like fizzy pop bottle lids, put them on your eyes and blinked, so to hold them in.
Yeah.
That's literally what it looked like. It just felt. Everything else was so well done that we looked at his eyes and I thought, they're not good. And the other thing as well, if you don't see anything from his vision,
You see it once.
oh, okay, yeah, but not enough to like justify that they work in that field, you know?
Yeah, I would like to see, because when we see him through his eyes once, it looks like you're seeing it through a computer screen, like the schematics and the building of things.
Yeah.
I'd like to see if he can switch it to it so it looks normal.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Or like it's like that. So when he works in the night vision.
Yeah.
And be able to flip through and, maybe like one blink for this or one something.
I think it's probably more mental controlled, isn't it? Because
if
he's got implants, if they're connected to his eye, then they're going into his brain.
Yeah.
Which you were quite worried about, the idea of having implants in your brain.
Yeah, I just think even in this, because they download her thoughts, and then they run I don't know, just everything, like her feelings, what she does, what she's seen, where she's been,
Yeah.
and all that sort of stuff. When you just look at that and you think, the idea of being able to do that and know if you're wired into something, you can be connected in some way.
Someone can look through your eyes without knowing.
And that's a scary thought.
What are they going to learn from me? That I eat too much?
Yeah, but imagine if you were sitting on the toilet and you
some
look down.
weirdo's going to get a thrill. By the way, if I'm sitting on the toilet, I look down, I'm not paying for their therapy bill.
No.
That's their own damn fault.
But do you know what I mean? It's just scary. You said you wouldn't mind being plugged in.
Well, as you know, I've been playing Cyberpunk 2077.
Yes.
It's a little different, but yeah, I wouldn't mind the idea of having some cybernetics, because the ones I'm thinking of, I know they'd have to link to your nerves, but there'd be no way that I would know of to transmit information across like that.
Yeah.
There probably would be.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the characters in Cyberpunk is a crazy street man who starts screaming at people. Do you believe that those people who sold you your mechanical eyes have not resisted the temptation to look through them?
Exactly. It's just strange, especially when it goes on to, for example, her arm, right? So I may cut this if it sounds stupid, but her brain is telling her to, let's say, wiggle her pinky finger.
Yeah.
Right? But technically, at the same time, she could be overridden and still wiggle her pinky finger, and her brain would not know it because she's wired in. No?
Yeah, just give me a second to work that through my head. I need the people who are controlling me, puppeting me, to work that through for a second.
Do you know what I mean? That is such a strange...
Well, remember at the beginning, she woke up and I can't feel my body.
Yeah, and she couldn't breathe. Imagine just waking up going, I can't breathe, and I'm like, it's fine, you don't need to breathe. Like, well, I do. Yeah, you do. You do need to do that, even though they don't know. It's crazy. That sort of stuff's crazy.
Yeah, the cybernetics. There are many body parts I'd like replaced.
Just your knees.
Head, shoulders, knees, and toes. No, definitely my knees and my ankles. I wouldn't even have like boosts that I could jump high or anything. Just give me
an exoskeleton.
Yeah, I'll just put mech suit. Don't give me implants. Just give me a giant sized mech suit to walk around in.
You know what you remind me of though? If you've done that, you know the granddad from Back to the Future when he's in that mech suit and he's just flying upside down. No, in part 2, then he goes to the future.
Right.
And he goes into Marty's house, and his dad.
Oh right.
He's in the suit, and he's flying upside down.
I barely remember that. But yeah.
It just reminds me of that.
Yeah, but you know full well with me, if I got cybernetics, how long would it be before I got a virus in them?
Yeah.
I'd be slapping myself. It's not working. It's not working.
No, that is true. But so if you could upgrade yourself and not be quote unquote wired in, what would it be?
Oh, ocular enhancer. As you know, my left eye isn't particularly good.
Yeah.
I have to wear glasses. These have been reduced in size. That's how thick. I used to have really thick glasses because my left eye. Well, I've got lazy eye. You can't really tell that it's not centered, but it doesn't work as well.
Mm-hmm. Would you have it so your nipples could tune into Jazz FM?
No, but I'd like it if my balls could tell what weather it's going to be like.
Imagine that.
Up or down,
yeah.
sunny or rainy. Little bit of insert humour there for
yeah.
him. Yeah. All right, what about you? If you could have implants, but without being linked in, wired in. Extra just internet connection for your mind. Sitting on the bus laughing at something. People are, what are you watching? I'm just watching some TikToks.
In fairness, when I put my AirPods in, I listen to people's podcasts and I laugh to myself. People must think, what is he laughing at?
It used to be so easy to tell who the crazy people were. They'd be walking down the road talking to themselves.
Now you've got AirPods, you can't tell.
Now someone can be wearing a hoodie with AirPods and you cannot tell if they're just talking to themselves.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right, so you've got your twiddly nipples.
Twiddly nipples.
You wear the telling balls.
That's yours.
No, thank you.
I donate that to you.
I want your second-hand
balls.
Second-hand balls. I was going to go second-hand implants, but that works. I'd have my knees, my eyes, ankles.
Probably my eyes.
You'd like some enhancements, would you?
Yeah, do you know what? I've realised I'm getting old. Like I'm.
Oh no, poor you. 32?
I am.
Oh no, let me play this world's smallest violin for you.
Thank you.
32, bloody child.
Yeah, I was sitting back on the sofa at my mum's, right? And I was sitting there, and I have glasses, and I'm supposed to use them. The way they're made is I can use them for close up when I'm on a computer, but if I sit back, they're great for long distance. They're kind of whatever that is.
Very focal.
Yeah. So, and I was sitting there, I was like, oh, what is that? And I know what I'd written, but I couldn't see. I got close. So my wife was like, "Can you just put your glasses on?" So I put them on. I was like, "It's not going to make a difference. Put it on." I was like, "Wow."
Welcome. You're past 30 now, mate. Everything's going to start falling down, dropping off, and breaking.
Yeah, just drooping and and all sorts. But I put it on. I was like, "Wow." I was like, "That hasn't been that clear in years."
I don't think I've seen you with glasses.
You may have done.
Not recently.
I don't know. But yeah, so that only happened like 2 days ago. Literally 2 days ago.
Here we are talking about cybernetics.
Yeah. So I'd get my eyes done.
Would you have some X-ray vision put in?
No.
You just have like what to bring up to normal levels?
So I'd have it so I could zoom. So my zoom feature.
Yeah. I like it. Take pictures with it.
Could do.
Nothing. It doesn't zoom out your eyes. It's just the iris zooms. And
Yeah. So like that sort of and maybe what else do I want?
I would go with heat detection, like infrared.
Like
Body heat, infrared, night vision.
Yeah. So all that sort of graded.
Yeah,
so if
you're going somewhere and it's dark, just flick your night vision on. You better see exactly where you're walking.
As long as you don't have to flick it on like you just did.
Yeah, flip the head back.
Because your hair went with it.
The hair I've got left on my head.
Could you get cybernetic hair? Is that a thing?
In cyberpunk, you can get shifted hair. I think it is.
Because I mean, we can get a transplant, and we can get hair transplants.
Yeah, you can shave the back of your head, your back of your neck.
And put it into the front, into the hair. Yeah.
I'd have.
That's literally, if you've done it all the way around, that's literally a short back and sides, isn't it? But yeah, so would you get your hair done, or would you go more like?
No, I'd have I'd have my hair completely redone. Like, it'd be black. I like having the idea of having black hair.
You could still dye it now.
Yeah, but you see my scalp even more through what's left of the hair. I would look like an aging rocker. It would not work out well. So
Just get a hairpiece.
you sitting there stroking your hair while we're talking.
Yeah.
I'm a pretty boy. I'm a pretty boy.
I've taken to wearing a hat.
Yeah, no. I was worried about that because I look at you coming and like, you do not normally wear a hat.
So this morning, I'll give you a quick rundown. This morning, obviously, I'd woke up. I was supposed to get to yours for 11.
Yes,
I got to yours at 11:30.
Yes, you did.
However, I am normally late to a podcast recording.
That is true.
So you should be used to that. But I got it. I was like, right, I had every intention, like, going to get to Chris's for 11. And I didn't wake up till about 10:30.
And this is me like 10 past 11. Look at the window like,
Hello.
I would have left it till like just after 30:30 and then given you a ring.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I'm here. We've done the recording. But I looked, and before I left, I was like, I'll do my hair. And then I got to faff around with my hair and get it how I want it. So it's, in place, and then spray it and dry it. And I was looking, I was like, I've got a hat there. So much quicker. Put the hat on. And yes, I was like, all right, I'm leaving with the hat on.
I wore a beanie-like hat for a while. The thing is, you couldn't see my hair at all. So it looked like I was a bald. My face was completely shaved as well.
Yeah.
I looked like a deranged version of Eric Cartman.
I can't imagine you in a beanie. How funny would that be? Get another one and we'll start a trend. No. Do you know what we need? You need half a snapback, which is what I've got, muddled into a beanie. So it's a snap beanie with a peak.
Okay.
We should invent that. So yeah, put that on the website. That'll do wonders.
Right, so we've got your eyes done.
Yeah, I'll do my hair. I'll probably go for a Mohican.
Just have adaptive hair, like you'd have like
Velcro. Just take it on, put it back on again.
like nanotech hair or something.
Yeah.
Just like relax, and you could turn it in different shapes, shades.
I feel like we're going back into the Oasis when we were talking about Ready Player One again. Just doing the hair. But no, right, yeah. Maybe that. I like the idea of going like what was it called? There was something that she done.
What was she, one invisible?
No. Like, well, no, it was because she's a cyborg swimming underwater without breathing. So maybe lungs, like just enhanced lungs, so I could run better. So I'm running, I'm continuously training. Like
yeah, that's the whole thing, though. If you have that, you might not be allowed to be in sports because that's an unfair advantage.
Yeah, but then if I'm doing my legs anyway, then
yeah, that's true. If we've got cybernetic legs, ankles and knees, then
basically we're not invited to participate. That's the.
We could do charity runs.
Yeah, but it's not as good then, is it?
Because you're not getting a medal for it.
No. I mean, it's like, you're running for charity. Well, you got iron lungs, so you can run forever. Well, yeah, but I'm still running for charity. That's the problem.
Any implants I get wouldn't be outwardly visible. What?
Steady.
I'm actually saying it correctly. Outwardly visible ones, like you've seen people walk in the movie walking around with like fully robotic arms.
Yeah, that's strange. I think. Do you know what? Looking at the way people are in that is kind of how, if you would understand this explanation, would be if you went in normal clothes to Comic-Con.
Yeah, you completely stand out.
You do, don't you? So especially in that sort of thing. So if you do look really normal, especially in this time frame, what's going on,
they would think you've been majorly upgraded or you were a purist. I know I'm crossing university here, but Cyberpunk has an implant I would love to have in that world.
Which is?
It's called Brain Dance.
Okay.
Basically, you can copy you can record your experiences.
Yeah.
You can sell those copies to people, and they can experience what you experienced. So you could go swimming. You could press record, or start recording before you go swimming. You swim in the water, get out, save it. Obviously, stop it, save it. And you could sell. They're called brain dances. You can sell those to people, and they put them in, lay it back in a chair, and they experience what you experience.
Strange that. What else would you experience then?
What to sell?
Yeah.
It depends on who I'm selling it to.
Other than swimming, like a generic, like rock climbing,
bungee jumping.
Oh.
I will never bungee jump. I will never freaking bungee jump. I'm just saying that's what you could do.
Yeah.
Running a marathon.
Yeah.
There's people in every world who have can't move their bodies. Horrific. But if they had the brain dance implant, they could receive the information.
Yeah.
You could sell it really cheaply to them of just you like walking down the shops or something that helps them in their.
Yeah, to give them a sense of
normality.
Normality, or what it would feel like. Yeah, it's very true. It kind of reminds me of, again, we're going into a completely different universe, but you know, in Doctor Who, when they sell stickers of like happy, sad, forgetful, and all that
Bliss. That
bliss,
was a big one.
yeah.
Another universe jump. The well, that thought just went flying out my head for no reason. There was something else, another thing. Oh, you know, keep going.
It'll pop back.
Yeah, just after we finish recording.
Yeah. But yeah, no. So that is something. Obviously, I would like to enhance
Surrogates. Sorry. The movie
shouting at me.
Surrogates. When what you got to do is lay back in your chair, you hook in, and you can actually got a control of an android body you can walk around.
Bit of VR.
No, the android is in real life. You're just laid back in your chair with these goggle things on your face, and you're literally controlling a robot that's walking around, and you can go to your job and do stuff.
I don't know if I like the idea of that.
Yeah, in the movie it didn't work out too well. They just approved creating surrogates for children, so children wouldn't have to leave the house or anything.
The thing is, I always look at that as that. Well, if you're sitting down doing nothing, but the robot or whatever it is, it's be getting more of a proper life. So the person that's in it, do you know what it reminds me of? Wall-E. Because then people, they get fat, lazy, and that's what that is.
Yeah, but the robots in the surrogate movie, they have no intelligence of their own. If the user is disconnected, they just collapse on the floor.
Okay.
There's just no mind in them besides the human controlling
That's
them.
strange. But yeah, as a crossover, talking about like other films and all this sort of stuff, I think it reminds me of. This is very much reminds me of being plugged into the Matrix.
I could see it going that way. Something like in any of these cybernetic worlds, I could see eventually people logging. Well, that's what I said to you when we saw those people logged in, didn't I? If you had a world where, if the Matrix was a happy, like a world where you could do anything you wanted, you had your own private universe within it, no one would actually want to rebel against the machines. No,
it's literally like the Oasis in Ready Player One. Yeah.
I just wish that Oasis was real. I'd love to go to Minecraft world just to see what it's like.
But yeah, but that's the thing, you know, you get so engrossed in this, and I think the same thing would be you get so engrossed in your upgrades that the only part of you that would be normal again would be the brain.
Well, there's a character in Cyberpunk called Adam Smasher, and I think all that's left of him, organic, is the brain.
Yeah.
But like with Major Motoko Kusanagi, she didn't have the choice. She was kidnapped.
Yes, she was. And she doesn't find that out properly until later on in the film. What do you think of that whole story of being of what happened with her?
Horrific. It's a good story, but the idea of it is terrifying.
Because she's told that her parents died and she was drowning or something?
Yeah, they died in the harbour. And that's when she awoke in her new body. She's like trying to breathe. She said, I'm drowning, there's water.
Yeah.
And she's not, she's just remembering a fake memory they gave her. They wanted to give her a memory of her parents dying to terrorists, so when they gave her over to Section 9, there was a reason for her to fight terrorists.
She had a hate there already, yeah. Section 9, what do you think of Section 9?
An elite anti-terrorism task force. I loved it. I loved it in the anime, and this worked out really well as well. Is
there similarities in the anime in this of like just the way things are done?
In the anime, I think, because they could do more because it's animated. They didn't have to rely on computers or like bring it into real life.
Yeah.
The like intelligence area of it was bigger. I mean, you had 20 women, 20 bodies which are the same. And you remember seeing the thing, because you were quite freaked out about it, the fingers tapping really quickly on the keyboard. Suddenly all these women's fingers would spread like that and start tapping rapidly. That was their intelligence gathering.
Yeah, that is very strange. Alright, so what do you think of Scarlett Johansson's portrayal of Major?
Kusanagi.
Yeah. So
Just call her Major.
What do you think of it? Because to me, I think it's so well done, and I think she was able to grasp the concept of the character.
I love that she slowly, the character through Johansson's acting, slowly embraced her humanity. Because at the beginning, she literally thinks of herself as little more than a machine.
Well, yeah, because I said to you, I was like, look at her walking as a robot, and as the film progresses, she progresses herself.
Yeah.
To become real. Who she was originally.
Yeah, she's slowly recovering her identity.
Yeah, I guess so. As that gets on her identity and the truth and all that kind of unveils about who she is,
there could be bits
her
of her
mind follows that.
Because no human walks perfectly. There's always little stumble steps or
like you earlier.
like me today, where I swore repeatedly in the middle of the street.
That was interesting language. Carry on.
It's called English.
Yes. You were talking about walking normally.
Yes. Yeah. As a machine, as being programmed, she would have walked perfectly. It would have kept her in perfect balance. Yes, I know. But her remembering would have allowed old, not so perfect movements to sink back in, making her walk like a human.
Yeah. Yeah, and it was very cool the way that was done. Like, she stopped taking her medication or whatever she was supposed to have.
Memory suppressants. I didn't like the way you had to put those in. She cracked it and the two little wires came out and right into the back of her head. Ugh.
Well, that's
unpleasant.
Yeah. So she kind of, she kind of embodied the idea of being a cyborg, and then as we said, throughout the film, the cyborgness is that a word? Cyborgness is still there, but she's kind of, the character transitions to with the understanding of who she was, and then an element of humanity.
She integrates her humanity into her cyborg nature.
Yeah, and it kind of, and because at the end, her actions before she jumps are different, like the way she moves and controls and speaks and stuff like that. It's completely different to how she was at the beginning.
Yeah, that's why when Batu picks her up at the end, he's asked, "Is Major still in there?"
Yeah,
because it's going to take some time. She's going to need therapy to link who she thought she was to who she truly is, and who she thinks she was to who she really is, have to become the person who she is now.
Yeah,
that's a lot of.
It's two different people becoming one person.
Yeah.
Effectively, even though it's just to make you frazzle a little bit, it's two different people with one brain becoming one person with the same brain.
Yeah, no, that makes sense to me.
Yeah.
But I remember what I said. How the moment I think she actually truly embraced her humanity is when she was laying there and tears were coming out of her eyes.
Yeah, because I said, "Is she crying?" Because I didn't think she could cry.
Well, it wouldn't have been needed, would it, for a machine?
I guess.
Someone knew how much they must have. Detail needed to create tear ducts that respond to hormonal changes in the brain. That's impressive.
But that means she was already installed with tear ducts, but never used them.
As a machine, she would never have needed to. It's only when her emotions have been unlocked, so to speak, she can now.
Yeah.
She knows a reason to.
It's so strange, isn't it? Like when they make a character like that, and they think, it's like the idea of her crying. So they must have thought, in case she needs to cry. Why would you think that if you can program not to do that? It's just a strange.
Well, maybe for like camouflage purposes, she needs to act like more human.
I didn't think about that. Yeah. Speaking of camouflage, the idea of her being invisible, blending into things.
Adaptive camouflage or active camouflage, yeah.
What did you think?
I like the stuff. If I'd take that. That'd be very useful.
It would.
You want to speak to someone coming across the room.
The problem with that is that would be used for the wrong purposes.
Oh yeah, you'd have weirdos using that.
That's people stealing, like robbing banks and things.
Have you noticed when she's walking in it, it doesn't do 100%.
Yeah, I think the safer way to do it would be if she was able to be camouflaged, but it's never 100% blended in. Like, it's still, you can tell there's someone there.
Yeah, it's only if you're looking for them. If you're like at the corner, you might see something and you turn. But by that time, if they stand perfectly still, then it probably work.
Yeah, but within movement, there's a glare.
A glitch, fluctuation. Yeah, it's true. But I'm just saying how sorry I felt for Kuzi.
And why's that?
Because he was a test subject to begin.
Yep.
He was... God, from his own point of view, he says, I was awake while the doctors pulled my body apart. And they said the subject's brain hadn't meshed with the shell. So basically, he was discarded. Wow. They just, I can imagine they just took him out somewhere and just dumped him somewhere.
Probably. The thing is, though, they kind of brought it on themselves with that because...
Oh, absolutely. The company was corrupt.
It was, because if they'd have done that and then took the brain back,
none of this
would have happened.
No, because they would have learned what happened, and they would have... the Major would have continued to experience glitches, and eventually they would have simply reset her.
Yeah.
Without this terrorist, so-called, he killed people, yes, but I won't say only guilty people, because those poor binmen were not guilty.
So he falls under
Anti-hero?
a weird category like Thanos.
That's a bit controversial. I know Thanos did the bad thing, but it turned out for the good reason.
So yeah, his thing was bad, but what he did,
His motivation, I think even his motivation was only to help people.
yeah,
But what he wanted was a clean, unbiased removal. Because when he snapped his fingers to remove half the life in the universe, half of all living beings, he knew there's a chance he would go.
yeah,
He accepted the fact that he might end up disappearing as well.
and I feel like, what was his name? Batu, innit?
Batu, yeah.
Yeah, no, Kuzi, sorry.
Uzi, sorry.
I feel like Kuzi, the minute he'd done basically and he'd been thrown away, he was like, well, I'm doing it because it's for this reason. Like, it wasn't, again, like, he wasn't really the bad guy. He was affected by their mistake.
He's seeking vengeance, not justice.
Yes.
So I'd put him in. He's not. What's the opposite of an anti-hero? It's not.
Anti-hero, I guess.
Well, he leans more towards the villainy side.
Anti-villain? Is that a
Yes,
thing?
that would make sense.
The anti-villain.
Anti-villain. That would make sense, actually.
Yeah, because he's not really the bad guy, but he's doing the bad guy thing until we get to the end when you think, because I said to you, I was like, so he wasn't really the bad guy.
I mean, where they ended up in the lawless zone, he had no idea that place was there.
No.
Because he had a tattoo of the place on a copy of his flesh, because that's what they gave him. And he only found out about it because he tracked the major there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And when he found out, he it's part of his memory was still there, because it triggered when he remembered her name.
Exactly, yeah. It's just, as I said, they brought it on themselves by not
being smart.
Yeah.
If your creation is malfunctioning or doesn't work properly, you don't just dump it on the middle of a street.
You try to fix that problem,
or you destroy it completely. Not to play the devil's advocate yet again for the second pod in a row.
Yeah.
But there are so many things they could have done better with that.
I
mean, even if the body wouldn't mesh, they could have given him a more basic one.
Yeah, because it was a very, like,
it seemed a bit patched,
complicated, didn't it?
Yeah.
It does seem very like a complicated body that they're trying to put him in. Why do you think her brain worked?
Maybe a full memory wipe is what they gave her, or they gave her new memories to latch on to.
Maybe.
Does it sound like they didn't give him any new memories because he kept asking, "What did you take from me?"
I was going to say no because she was drowning, but obviously that wasn't the case anyway. That itself was a memory.
Yeah, it was a fake memory.
So maybe because she didn't know what was going on, and maybe he had an inkling. That's why it didn't adapt. I didn't connect.
Or maybe, cool. They said even before he was put in there. I remember the doctor said he had a violent personality and he didn't mesh. He was living in the lawless zone. He was writing manifestos along with Motoko about how nothing was gonna, like, the technology was destroying the planet.
Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting though. So I think it was why hers did and his obviously didn't. So let's get down to like the final battle, because I think like that's the big moment.
The baddie made the big mistake of taking control himself. All the baddies have to do that.
Set again. It happens in Ready Player One.
The baddies.
And that only came a year after this, I think.
Don't tell me it's that long since
Ready Player One came out in 2018.
Shut your mouth.
This was only 2017.
It came out 2 years ago.
And
even that's stretching it.
But yeah, I'm sure it was 2018. That's because we started the pod and we done it the first year of our podcasting.
We did it once, and the audio
didn't work, so we had to go back and watch it again,
and then we had to
do it again
and restrain ourselves on the bus from not talking to each other about this.
Twice. Twice.
Though even now, my character in the Oasis hasn't changed.
I can't remember what I said.
Mine was a fully bipedal large werewolf wearing white Institute armour from Fallout 4 with a minigun.
I have to listen back, but I can't remember what I said. It's probably something really boring. I'm not that creative when it comes to them sort of things.
He chose Minnie Mouse.
Yeah, probably. Or Pluto.
Yeah, the big boss battle.
Yeah, so the big boss battle. As you said, he takes it upon himself to
take control of the tank.
Yep. Clearly that didn't do a good enough job, because she breaks herself in the process of breaking...
She rips out, it's like the tank's central unit.
I guess the heart or the brain, or both.
I didn't want to say brain in case it's like a cyborg tank or something. Someone's mind's just got pulled out.
Or like the heart of... Yeah, but it feels like the mind because you just dropped down dead.
It's central processing unit.
Yes. That'd be the brain then.
I'm saying it more technically to make it less... But yes, the tank's brain.
Essentially, it would be that... It would, right?
Yes. That's what... our central processing unit is our brain, so yeah.
I guess. Yeah, so she killed the... what was the machine?
All I know is it's a tank, some kind of tank. It's a spider tank, that's...
Yeah. And a lot. They had a weird graphic of a lot of spidery kind of things in this. Obviously, the thing at the beginning, when they tried to inject with the virus.
Mm-hmm.
There was that bit there. There was another bit in the middle when there was like the spider-looking thing. It's very bug-heavy in terms of things.
Maybe it's more like web-heavy. It's all spider-like.
That is,
the
yeah.
Connection between everything, isn't it?
That's very true. Maybe then, maybe that is the case. Maybe we'll see Peter Parker just swing by at some point.
Cybernetic Peter Parker.
There's got to be one of them. 2099?
Hold on.
That's the futuristic one.
Yeah, but I don't think his powers come from a chemical he ingested, or is it his suit that he does it?
I guess the closest you're going to get the anime one, which is cybered. But that's the girl controlling it. That's like a remote control.
I'm not quite sure what I'm looking at.
Earth 2818. That looks a bit like Iron Man. It looks like an Iron Spider. The big battle kind of ends, and then we kind of get a nice ending. So obviously, Kuzi has died.
He banned because he kept telling her to come with him to join a network.
Oh, because he abandons that body because he's already in the network.
Yeah, basically, he just basically, his ghost. He separates his soul from his body.
So he disconnects.
Yeah. So you're trying to make tanks have a brain. I'm trying to say his soul left his body. He disconnected. You're giving more human attributes to tanks.
Is that not what happened?
His soul transcended the limitations of his mortal flesh. He disconnected. Yes, okay, he disconnected.
Is that the right
yes,
way? Right,
I'm agreeing with you now.
Stop making things so complicated.
Yeah, he's left his body. He's joined his network.
He's
also said to her, "I'll always be with you in your ghost." So I think he's left a small piece of himself inside her. Shut up! Seriously, I'm trying to be all transcendental and happy and harmony, and what do I get? You making dick jokes with your eyes. Jeez, I mean, he said he left a small piece inside of her. I wasn't referring to anything sexual, you deviant. Good Lord in heaven.
The minute you said that, your face went, oh crap.
I knew exactly what you would say. You're so totally 32.
So childish. If I had said that sentence, you would have thought the same thing.
My eyes would have rolled. I wouldn't have said it. When I look at you, I know the moment I said it, I looked at you and you're right, you've gone very red.
Oh, that's funny. Oh. you were trying to be so
higher,
nice about that, and in such a lovely way, and then
you come along and crap all over it with your penis jokes.
Oh, that was funny. But yes, he left a piece of him with her. It's the fact that you said he left a piece inside of her.
Yeah, there is nothing sexual in this movie.
No. Speaking of, do you think? Because I said this while we was watching it. The idea of, do you not think they should have had a proper costume as opposed to the way she looked?
In the anime, her body looks naked.
It does, yeah.
There's nothing outward to show that. There's no obvious, there's no nipples.
Yes.
It's not a batsuit.
No.
But in this, they couldn't do that. It would have been too close, to Chinese obscenity or something.
Mate, there's rules and regulations they have to follow.
So giving her a suit that looks like it could be, it's probably as close as they could do it.
But then, I mean, they done really well with her face, and then being able to take pieces off.
Yeah.
I think if they've done it so they would have made it look a bit more, I don't want to say patchwork, but
with lines like you could clearly see.
So you could see where it was, to break up what it looked like. Because when she was there, and she was just standing, and when she'd take the coat off before she was going to do a jump, obviously to blend in, I did say, I was like, it just, if you looked from a distance, you wouldn't think she's wearing something.
Yeah.
And I didn't like and I thought, well, she's a robot, the idea of her wearing something to blend in would be a part of the suit, not a part of the character. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but in this, she wasn't a robot. They basically said to her that she's a living being, so she would act and react like a living being.
Yeah. Because later on she wears clothes, like normal clothes. She wears scuba gear to swim and stuff like that.
I like the fact that the reason why she swims, down there in the dark, there's nothing, no connections, no internet or anything, and it scares her. So Butter goes, so why do you do it? Because it feels real.
Yeah.
So fear is one of the primal emotions, as you know. She can still feel.
Yeah. Yeah, and you find out right at the end that she can have
can
emotion.
Feel sorrow and everything, yeah.
No. But yeah, I mean, I guess we've kind of broke down. Obviously, we went on a lot of tangents.
Oh, good God, yeah.
But I guess when a film's so futuristic and stuff like that, that's how we go. Obviously, we didn't rate the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers because it wasn't a film.
Yes.
We're going to rate this, though. So, with a rating out of 10, because we always rate our things out of 10. Do you want me to go first? Do you want you to go first?
No, I'll do it first this time.
All right, go on.
I'm going to go 7 out of 10.
Wow, okay.
A bit high for my normal standards. Mm-hmm. But at the moment, I'm really into the whole cybernetic cyborg thing. It just works for me. I did enjoy this movie. Mm-hmm. I have it on DVD, so I can watch it again if I choose to.
Yep.
Which I probably will at some point. This is actually a movie I could sit down and watch again, because I'd be looking for all the things I recognise.
Yeah.
I do like the whole... that's what it's called, the transhuman issue. Whether by moving beyond humanity, are you still part of humanity?
Yeah.
And I love the idea of people trying to better themselves, but not always getting it quite right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What about you?
I give it a 7.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, so I was thinking either 7 or 7.5. But I thought, do you know what? I think there's things on it that could be better. The look for Scarlett Johansson, that sort of thing. It dragged in moments. Like the middle section for me dragged a lot. The final acts and the first part acts, fantastic. Second, was a bit slow.
You feel that way about a few movies, that you don't get the action in the middle section you need.
Yeah, because sometimes I like the idea of having a story-driven movie, and I'm not against that at all. But sometimes if it's got action at the beginning and there's nothing in the middle, it makes you want the action in a final act. But at the same time, if the final act doesn't deliver, then it's been a build-up, big crescendo for nothing. You know? And
yeah, it's a tease.
Yeah, so I'm not a big fan of... I like it kind of sporadically placed to kind of keep me engaged in what's happening and the story driven through like that. But yeah, it's a bit of a roller coaster film. I said it goes up and down. There's good points, low points, bad, and so on and so on. But no, I enjoyed it. I said there's things that we've changed that we've spoken about already. But I think 7 out of 10's a worthy grading.
It's a good score for this.
And can I also just say, bearing in mind this is a heavily CGI film.
You didn't have much of a complaint.
I didn't have much of a complaint, right? So what does that go to show? When you're not trying to do orcs and all these random monsters and fantasy fairy tale stuff, and you just give us like over the top, I guess, Tokyo or Japan or whatever.
It's Hong Kong.
Hong Kong and stuff like that, right? And you give us cities that are over the top, CGI is working better. As I said, the minute you try and put a monster of any monster into something and you make it act as a human would, you're watching it as a human, not as the monster.
Yeah.
And I found that a lot. So when I look at things, I'm like, they all act the same way.
I think it's similar.
It's too perfect.
Like going to the Clone Wars, the Clone Wars movie, when the three of them, Padme, Anakin, and Obi-Wan are lined up to be executed in Geonosis.
Yeah.
The CGI monsters, are moving as monsters. They're the leopard-like thing. It may be using some of the same moves as a big cat, but it's clearly alien, which works. You don't really think about it very much.
Exactly. And again, as I said, when you watch something like Avatar or The Hobbit, Lord of the Rings, just to name a few things that are like more fantasy kind of driven. There's an element there that drags me out of it because I'm like, I just can't buy it. There's something about it. Same with some of the stuff in Harry Potter that we've spoken about. But yeah, overall though, the CGI for this was great. There was a couple of bits that were a bit wobbly. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was visually incredible.
Oh, stunning in many places. Yeah.
So again, same with Valerian. Stunning visually.
It got let down majorly in the acting department.
Exactly. You know, and things like that. Same with Avatar. Visually, beautiful. But it's flawed with everything else.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, other than that, I'm happy. Any final words?
No.